Every single iPhone you have ever held has a secret flaw, and honestly, you probably never even noticed it. Look at the camera on the back. The little hole that lets the light in, it is completely frozen. It stays the exact same size whether you're taking a picture in the blazing sun or in a pitch black room. But that is finally ending. And once you see what Apple is actually cooking up here, you will realize this is easily the most massive camera jump the iPhone has ever seen. Let us jump right into the big one, because this is seriously huge. The iPhone 18 Pro is bringing a true variable aperture to the main lens. In simple words, the actual physical opening inside the lens can now squeeze shut or open up wide, just like a real camera. Sure, Samsung tried this way back on the Galaxy S9, and Xiaomi has played around with it too. But Apple is finally doing it right. Why should you actually care about this in the real world? Well, right now when you take a portrait shot or a night photo, your phone is basically lying to you. It relies on software tricks to blur the background or digitally boost the brightness. It does an okay job, but it is still just a computer guessing. With a physical variable aperture, the lens itself opens super wide in the dark, sucking in real actual light. Then, when you are outside in the bright sun, it snaps shut a bit to give you perfectly crisp photos with natural depth. We are talking about the difference between a phone putting a filter on a photo and a phone taking a true professional picture. And sitting right behind that moving lens is a brand new sensor. Internal leaks show they are dropping in the Sony IMX905, booting out the IMX903 from last year's 17 Pro Max. The pixel size stays at 1.22 microns, so the magic here really is about that new lens working together with the upgraded Sony sensor to gather light properly. The ultra-wide and the zoom lenses are staying exactly the same as before. Apple is putting all their chips into making the main camera absolutely flawless this year. Now, let us flip the phone over, because the second you turn the screen on, you are going to spot the next big change. The dynamic island is going on a diet. The trusted leaker Ice Universe says it is shrinking by about 35%. How? Apple is literally burying the Face ID scanner underneath the screen itself. You do not lose any face unlock speed. You just gain back a ton of screen real estate. Whether you get the 6.3-inch Pro or the massive 6.9-inch Pro Max, that smaller pill shape is something you will appreciate every single time you watch a video. But here's where the dominoes start to fall. That crazy new camera mechanism needs space, and so does the battery. The battery life is getting a massive bump, mostly because Apple is forcing more regions to use eSIMs. They ripped out the physical SIM tray and stuffed that empty space with a battery hitting nearly 5,200 mAh on the Pro Max. That is a huge win for all-day use, especially with all the new heavy AI tasks running in the background. But you cannot just add a bigger camera and a massive battery without a catch. And the catch is, the iPhone 18 Pro is getting thicker. Ice Universe says the battery alone adds about 1/4 of a millimeter in thickness and 7 grams of weight. Another leaker, Fixed Focus Digital, thinks it could get even chunkier, up to 10.75 millimeters total. Why? Because they also had to cram in a new vapor chamber cooling system to keep all this beefy hardware from melting your hands. It is not a totally new design, but you will absolutely feel the difference when you pick it up. Speaking of looks, let us talk about colors. The leak cycle has been dead set on one specific color replacing last year's orange. Say hello to dark cherry. It is described as this incredibly rich, deep red color that looks extremely premium. You will have 4 color options in total, with the other 3 sticking to the usual safe, neutral vibes. Apple is also smoothing out the edges. They are ditching that two-tone camera bump for a seamless unibody frame that melts right into the back glass. And running the entire show is the brand new A20 Pro chip. It is built on a tiny 2nm process, which basically means it runs much faster while sipping way less battery. It is exactly what this phone needs to handle the wild new camera and all those AI tricks without breaking a sweat. Oh, and the physical footprint of the phone? The screen sizes stay locked at 6.3 and 6.9 inches, so it is just getting thicker, not wider. So, here's the honest picture. You're getting a phone that is a bit thicker and heavier, but in return, you get the first ever real moving camera lens on an iPhone, a much smaller dynamic island, and quite literally the biggest battery Apple has ever shoved into a device. For a lot of folks out there, that is a totally fair trade. So I have to ask you, is a thicker, heavier iPhone worth it if you get a true pro-level camera and insane battery life? Or do you wish Apple would just keep their phones as thin as possible? Drop your thoughts in the comments down below. I read all of them. Hit that subscribe button, and I will catch you in the next one.